Hey everyone, this is President Obama's last international press conference, and he is answering a question regarding President-elect Donald Trump's current cabinet member appointments, or at least apparent appointments, and saying that the president-elect should be given some time and a wait-and-see stance by the public. He said this before, but here is President Obama saying it again to an international audience.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've been telling world leaders this week that President-elect Trump is unlikely to govern in the divisive way that he campaigned. But I'm wondering, how can you be so certain of that, given that the first group of people he's chosen for top national security and law enforcement positions hold the same views that he espoused as a candidate? And second, to follow up on your meeting earlier today with President Putin, did you discuss with him Russia's alleged meddling in the U.S. election? And are you concerned that the kind of involvement that we saw in this year's campaign will be the new normal going forward in future U.S. elections?
Well,
she's from the Associated Press.
What I have said to world leaders is the same thing that I've said in a number of press conferences, which is the president-elect now has to put together a team and put forward specifics about how he intends to govern. And he hasn't had a full opportunity to do that yet. And so people should take a wait-and-see approach in how much his policy proposals, once in the White House, once he is sworn in, matches up with some of the rhetoric of his campaign. My simple point is that you can't assume that the language of campaigning matches up with the specifics of governing legislation, regulations, and foreign policy. I can't be sure of anything. I think, like everyone else, we'll have to wait and see. But as I've said before, once you're in the Oval Office, once you begin interacting with world leaders, once you see the complexities of the issues, that has a way of shaping your thinking and in some cases modifying your thinking, because you recognize this solemn responsibility not only to the American people, but the solemn responsibility that America has as the largest, most powerful country in the world. And I can't guarantee that the president-elect won't pursue some of the positions that he's taken. But what I can guarantee is that reality will force him to adjust how he approaches many of these issues. That's just the way this office works. And I've said before, if these issues were easy, if ensuring prosperity, jobs, security, good foreign relations with other countries, if all that was simple, then it would have been done by every previous president. And I'm a pretty good presidential historian. I've looked at my 43 predecessors, and it seems like for all of them, even the best ones, that you end up confronting realities that you didn't anticipate. I think the same will happen here, and that's a good thing. That's an important thing. With respect to...
Now, President Obama is measuring his words because he is helping President Trump during his transition as a kind of a consultant. But what President Obama, because of that, can't say is that President Trump is sending a signal that it may be disturbing to others, and definitely is to a number of people. He can't say that, but it's important for others in the media to do so, because President Obama's got to work with Donald Trump. So you have to put that in perspective. Also, in closing for this blog, or video blog, excuse me, get used to seeing President Obama, and if you haven't watched his videos before, do so, because you're not going to see this kind of professionalism from Donald Trump if he makes it past the Electoral College. I'll have more to say about that later.